Today I'm going to be installing the Sinister Diesel oil bypass system on my 4th gen Dodge. It's going to take my filtration down from 20 microns to 2 microns with this Amsoil filter. Some say you'll never have to change it again. Let me know what you think. I run my oil changes 7,000-ish miles. From the factory it says 15,000, but that makes me a little bit nervous. This is really going to take your filtration down to the levels that I'm personally looking for. I want it filtered as much as I can.
Aside from the Harbor Freight tools, these are all the parts that come in the install kit. You have the hoses that run from the filter into the housing, and then from the housing into your engine. You have the new oil, I'm going to call it oil cap. You have 3 90-degree fittings, 145, the block, which will go onto your engine, and the mounting hardware. The instructions say to go ahead and mount this bracket inside the engine bay. I'm going to deviate a little bit and go ahead and assemble the filter housing. And it comes with some Teflon tape, but I've been using this on all my plumbing fittings, both inside the house and automotively, and it works really good. So I'm going to use this Megla lock and go ahead and assemble this housing. With the fittings, you'll notice there's a red cap and a clear cap. And in the instructions, it says, pay attention to the orientation. The more flat side is going to go into the filter housing, and the more fuel line looking fitting is going to be facing out to connect these lines right here. Now, you only have 2 fittings. That second end is going to be blocked. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and remove it and Loctite it to make sure it does not come out, but it goes in really, really easy. Like I said, I'm going to take my Megla lock. It's kind of got a blue consistency, and go ahead and put it on my threads. And I'll clean the filter housing to make sure it looks nice and neat. If not, my wife would probably complain. Go ahead and get that one started, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Make sure I have a nice liberal coating. Don't want to cross thread it. I plan on this going in one time. Makes me wonder if I should have Loctited it. The instructions, which I always follow, say to make sure you watch the orientation. So it's going to be a little snug, but I'm going to go ahead and bring that one all the way up because it said to. And this one, I'm going to make sure I bring it all the way down. Don't be like me. Watch and make sure you don't scrape that nice, pretty housing. Now, the bolt you're looking for is right here. It is a little tricky to get to. If you really want to make it easy on yourself, go ahead and take out this intake manifold. It'll make it really easy to get to. In the directions, it says to use a 7/16 wrench, and that's exactly what you have to do. So read the directions. Take some brake cleaner and spray off your oil filter housing. It's going to have a lot of dirt. The whole mission here is to have clean oil. You don't want any dirt falling in. What they don't tell you about is this line right here. You're going to need to remove that. It's got a flex line just a little further back, so once you remove it, it'll be nice and easy. But that'll give you full access to your filter housing. When you get the 7/16 plug out of your oil filter housing, it's going to look exactly like this. I'm going to take my 45 fitting, put some of that Megla lock on it, and then go ahead and put it where this plug was. What you're going to need to do is get a 13 millimeter socket to take that off, and then behind here is a 10 millimeter. Grab a socket, take that off, and then you'll have these 3 holes, which you can put your new bolts in for the bracket, which will hold the oil filter bypass. Once you get the bracket removed, I'm going to personally hit it with some brake cleaner, if I can hit the angle right, and make sure that's all cleaned up, and then we're going to put those 3 bolts in. Now, if you went to good old Daddy Banks and got yourself a grid heater delete, you'll find yourself in this scenario where it lines up, but they just gotta say their name. So what I'm going to do is put my bolts in there. I'm going to find some washers and put it in that space and make sure it's nice and level, but nice and secure, and it should be good to go. I was going to take that Allen key out, but it's in there really good. So if you have the pusher style intake, I'm going to go with just mounting it upside down, which should make the filter changes easier anyways. That's going to be your inlet. That's going to be your outlet. Once you've dry fitted everything, it should look like this. You got one hose coming from the top end of your oil filter over to the housing, out of the housing into your oil cap, and then you'll replace your stock one, and that's where the oil will go in.